Lee was wondering what we would say about alternative sporran types and designs going into the future. Use our imaginations and discuss new materials, with different designs, different shapes, different features of sporrans of the future. And she said she was being specifically vague because she wanted us to shaggy dog about it a little bit. She wants to hear us go off on the idea.
Okay.
What is the sporran of the future?
The sporrans in space. I'm not sure. I don't see sporrans going in any crazy direction. I'll say this. The kilt is grounded in tradition, period. There are new things, there are fads, there are people taking it different ways, whether with utility kilts, whether the nylon material sporrans, with square-shaped sporrans. I know I'm remembering specifically there was a vegan sporran, and it was kind of almost like diamond-shaped or like Superman logo-shaped. There's a few different designs, and it's, in my mind, outside of the throwback to like a goat hair sporran, something a little bit longer hair. It's all kind of cyclical, but for the most part, the shape, the medium to a degree has been established. Will there be slight tangents? Yes. Tangent number one. I've seen hip sacks, fanny packs, whatever you want to call them. Don't call it a fanny pack in the UK. That means something different. At least the word fanny does. So I've seen those try to be used as sporrans. No, I give it a straight fail. Done. No, don't do it. Sorry, I'm going to be harsh. Next, I've seen with utility kilts specifically, I've seen guys wearing, like, if they have like the Malay strips across the kilt, wearing like a ammo pouch or something like that as a sporran. It's varying degrees of success. It's different than a traditional kilt. Therefore, I'm a little bit more forgiving with the sporran being a little bit different. With utility kilts having pockets, and frankly, standard utility kilt, brand utility kilt having a small apron, there's not a ton of need for a sporran. So I can even go that direction as well. For the most part, though, I'd say sporrans are going to be stuck on a sideways D shape, or, so it's D facing down, or an oval for a dress sporran or a semi-dress sporran. That's not saying that they can't evolve. That's not saying there can't be new traditions or new styles within it. I've seen a couple different sporrans with, for instance, instead of leather, like a tweed wrap on the leather. So it's a tweed sporran. I've seen sporrans with an asymmetrical flap where it kind of comes off to the side and there's a horn pin, effectively, closure to the sporran. I've seen people doing some avant-garde, like, football, sporran, rugby ball, whatever. I've seen those kind of things. So there are different things that you can do with it within the realm of tradition, just kind of taking it in a fashion angle. I don't see steering away from fur and leather as anything with real staying power. Could someone do it? Sure. Would it be successful over an extended period or be accepted into traditional Highland wear? Nah, probably not.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I mean, I can imagine all kinds of things, but it's mostly comes down to fashion alternative stuff. I think the basic design, it's kind of one of the first things they teach you in like art school is form follows function, right? That's what they teach you in design, and a basic sporran is the shape it is and has retained for the past 100 years because it's kind of, it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, the idea of a pocket, you open the flap, you reach in, you're done. It's kind of hard to improve on that. I mean, you can add things to it from a stylistic standpoint, like Rocky said, like from an artistic standpoint, you can monkey around with it. I could see maybe more technical sporrans with more specialty side pockets and stuff like that coming in. And like you said, Rocky, I think with utility kilts and the fashion end as opposed to the traditional end, You might see some more funky stuff. I could see a different bag shape, maybe like a geometric, like you said, when you said the Superman shield, I was like, yeah, actually, that could kind of work in an interesting kind of way, like in a kind of a ultra future, or ultra heavy metal-y kind of subculture statement piece kind of a thing. But other than maybe adding some other technical things to theoretically make it better, like I could see maybe a side zip pocket on the back, so you just have your credit card in back and you don't have to open up the main pocket to get your credit card. Stuff like that. But otherwise, I don't really see it changing much. Now, I will be on board when they have the LED light up Sporrans that you can program, so you can have different messages and different designs. Like, oh, I feel like a wolf head today, so you have like a red glowing wolf head on your Sporran. And then maybe the next day you go with, a Highland coup, photorealistic, cyberpunk Sporran. You can put me down for that.
As soon as I design one of those, you'll be the first on the list.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
I had another thought and I forget that. No. But
I think that's the reason I think Sporrans change is A, because somebody wants to make a statement, or B, they want something special to stand out in a certain context, which is why some of the more experimental designs are dress Sporrans. The funky furs and the funky finishes and cantles, it's not a dress Sporran because you're trying to be the belle of the ball, you're trying to be the peacock. So if you imagine a more avant-garde gathering like, techno rave or something, then maybe somebody's going to invent a Sporran that looks cool under blacklight, But the basic design, it's not broken, so you're not going to try and fix it. There's nothing, you can't compete with this. It's just like, boop, boop, done.
Yeah. I would say this. The drivers of change are going to be a couple things. One, fashion to start with, but it has to evolve. It has to stick around. And if it doesn't stick, then it's not going to become tradition. Two would be a functional thing. For instance, either functional or cost. Functional, meaning the top on a dress Sporran used to be a hinged cantle, like a coin purse. And then it became just the front because you didn't really need a hinge. That was due to cost. Another thing that I started doing on our Sporrans that we had made for us back in 2007 would be putting internal pockets for business cards or your credit card or whatever inside the Sporran. I started doing that back then. And a lot of companies, a lot of companies have followed suit doing stuff similar to that. The other two that I will say over longer periods of time would be, one, the depth of the gusset has gotten a little bit deeper over time, and the size of the Sporran over time has increased a little bit. Meaning the footprint of the actual leather bit, not the hair like a goat hair Sporran, but as people have gotten a little bit bigger, as their hands have gotten a little bit bigger, as you want to put more stuff in the Sporran and have access to it, the size of the Sporran has increased a bit over time. Not, 100%, it's now the whole front of the apron, but I'd say 10%, 15%, maybe a little bit. So the more functional aspects of it would increase in popularity and as a direction I could see it going and sticking.
I could almost see a thing where you have a Sporran with a greater acceptance of other things on your belt happening. Like you have a Sporran chain, and maybe there's a little sidecar pocket over here. And the reason I point that out is because you and I have both had issues fitting big honking cell phones into Sporrans. And I think at some point, if people's personal gear changes, then they're going to wind up coming up with other solutions. Like Lance downstairs, he uses one of the bagpiper belt pouches to carry his notebook and his phone in, because it's just not practical to have it in his Sporran. So if the other gear you carry changes, then the Sporran may change to accommodate. But I don't see it being major. More likely other things added to your kit rather than a change to the Sporran.
I would say this though, I don't think that would affect the Sporran or the Sporran chain so much as what's worn on the belt.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
You don't want to look like, Batman with a utility belt and 27 different pouches all around you.
We did a joke about that once. We did that thing with Jason. Yeah.
You're not going into war with the Joker. but you want to have your stuff that you need.
Fun, right? And who doesn't want to know more about Sporrans, am I right? If you want to know more about all the gory details of Sporrans, check these videos out. You can nerd out with the best of them.